The verse of the day is Proverbs 21, and it says, "Wine produces mockers, alcohol leads to brawls. Those led astray by drink cannot be wise." I'm extra smiley today because I just love this verse because it applies very much to my story, and I've seen God move in this way so much. It's 100% changed my life. I've talked about it before, but I came from the party scene, used to be the party girl. Alcohol was a huge crutch in my life that helped me own my voice, helped me feel more loved and accepted. And once I started to get to know Jesus, he kind of started to walk me through a season of, okay, we don't want to party anymore. We don't need to get our needs met in that way anymore because I'm learning how to get them met by him. He's telling me that I'm enough. He's telling me that I'm approved of. But it was so interesting because after I met Jesus, I slowly but surely stopped with the heavy party scene, but I still drank casually. This is my favorite testimony in the world because the reason why I drank before was so that it could ignite this part of me that I didn't know how to access without it. But after I met Jesus, alcohol actually started to shrink my true identity because I never wanted to give alcohol the credit for what I was doing, because that used to be my motive when I drank. Drinking helped me become someone and do things I wouldn't do without it. So when I would drink post Jesus, I was afraid that anything I did that was fun or silly or loud was only because of the alcohol rather than who I was. So God was showing me that alcohol started to shrink who I was. And the moment I got rid of it, it was the moment I got to own every part of me. The reason why alcohol is a slippery slope is because it impairs your judgment. It gets your thoughts to change. You are an easier target for the enemy to feed you lies because your judgment is not going to be as clear. It clouds your judgment. You're more vulnerable to the things around you, to the people around you, and your guard gets let down. And the reason why God says do not get drunk on wine is because that's not self-control. We're going back to the self-control that we've been talking about yesterday. If you are out of control in any area of your life, you aren't being influenced by God. And God says, be led by my spirit, not the spirit of alcohol. And there are obviously lots of different levels of conviction when it comes to drinking, and it all depends on what you can handle. Can you handle self-control with just a drink? You have to get really honest with yourself and ask, what is my motive with drinking? Do I need it in order to feel loved or at peace in social settings? Because that means it's a crutch. And if you are going to alcohol for a crutch rather than Jesus, you're getting a need met by alcohol instead of the one who can fill it long term in a way that actually sustains your soul. There are countless things that alcohol can cause: the hangovers, the loss of time, the shame, the regret the next day, and it can get you to reject yourself, self-rejection. And what God is trying to do is to help you feel accepted, to help you own your identity, be big and shine in your identity. And alcohol a lot of the times can shrink it if it's not used in a healthy way. If you've decided to follow Jesus, you've decided to follow faith over your feelings. And what alcohol does is entices you to follow your feelings because it ignites part of your heart. You feel certain things when you drink and you just want to follow the lead of what you feel. And a lot of the times it's not wisdom. It's not wisdom to follow what you're feeling when you're drinking. It says those led astray by drink cannot be wise. How do you become wise? Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. If fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, you have to put God first in order to gain the wisdom. If you're led astray by drink, your brain is no longer in a position to fear God. You're out of your mind. You're going to be distracted in those moments because your mind is consumed by the alcohol. If this is our battleground, this is where the enemy goes to feed you lies and to distract you and to take you away from who you really are. Alcohol is a perfect segue because it twists your thoughts. It brings your guard down. When we're supposed to guard our heart, guard our thoughts, we're supposed to be on guard, and alcohol takes us off that guard. Now, we all have our own convictions, right? Not everyone has my past. Not everyone has my same experience with alcohol. Not everyone had the same motives that I had. There are people who can drink and maintain self-control and maintain their heart and mindset, But it is a very hard thing to manage if you are someone who is drinking a lot or in those environments. It is a slippery slope. That's all I'm saying. And I don't think it's a coincidence that when I decided to be sober, the Jesus Challenge was birthed 4 months later, and I have never experienced the Holy Spirit as strong and as evident in my life than I have being sober. Like night and day. I'm coming up on 2 years sober, almost 2 years of the Jesus Challenge, and I don't think that timeline is a coincidence. Sometimes I think alcohol can detour us and keep us stuck in this social thing of something we need in order to fit in, something we need in order to have fun or to feel good. But you can get all of those needs met by him, and it's actually more liberating and powerful. Just like we talked about yesterday, how when you're led by anger, it's a powerless feeling. When you have to be led by alcohol or you need it in order to be in a social setting, that is a very powerless feeling. My favorite thing about being sober is when I'm out with friends and being social, I know I'm being 100% me. And I know that I can be as loud, as silly as I want. And I just get to be me in Jesus. I just get to let the Holy Spirit flow through me in any way that he wants. And that's how we get to be vessels of God, examples of God, witnesses of God, and how we're set apart in atmospheres that are really consumed by a culture of drinking and being deceived. I think the obvious is we're not supposed to be drunk, right? Self-control. Because if we're not controlled by the Spirit of God, then we're letting the enemy control us. We are an open door for him to control us. But I think we need to get really honest with ourselves. What is our motive with drinking? Why do we need it? Why do we want to do it? What is it about it that makes you want to? And just get really honest. And I know it can be a scary jump. It was scary for me. It was hard for me. I had so much emotional experiences attached to this thing, but it really taught me to get all of those emotional needs that I used to get met by alcohol, by God. And he can, and he does, and he will. And it's just the most freeing feeling in the world to know that you can be 100% you, full of his Spirit, not needing anything that the world says that you need. I think there's a verse in the Bible that talks about how God doesn't trust people. He didn't trust certain people because he knew what was in their heart. When we accept Jesus into our heart and we start to follow him, we are now on a journey of gaining God's trust, of showing him how obedient we are. If we are making decisions that are showing him that we aren't trustworthy and that our mind goes astray, he can't trust us with certain things because he knows we won't handle it well. When we build really good trust with him and we show him, Lord, I just want you to control my mind. I just want to follow your lead every day, all day long. That's you building really good trust with him. And that's you showing him that you can handle higher responsibility, that he can trust you with more because he knows your thoughts and your eyes and your ears are all going to be focused on him on any given moment. Just something to think about because it changed my life and I know it can change yours. Okay?